Oh, good. Today we are doing a balance class for the first time, and I'm really excited to run this class today, and I really want to know your feedback, whether it's in our chat box when we open it up at the end, or if you want to email, because it's quite an integrated class. We're looking at balance in a few different ways. So first way is obviously standing balance, and our balance does go off from the age of 30, which is really young. It starts to deteriorate. So balance is something that we all need to keep working on to keep it from deteriorating. So we'll be looking at standing balance. We'll also be looking at balance between the right and the left side of our body, because we always have that dominant side that we go to first, that feels stronger, that our brain seems to just listen to a lot easier. So I want to focus on balancing that out a little bit. So we'll be taking note of which side feels a little bit more wobbly or which side feels a little less strong. And we'll be doing second set on those sides to try and bring up the balance between our right and our left. And we'll also be looking at the balance between our front body and our back body. If you think about everything that we do is quite forward focused, okay? So our front body often gets very tight. So we want to look at keeping the length and the balance between our front and our back body, and often that means sort of strengthening our upper back. And also we want to be able to be strong and stand up against gravity. So we'll be working on those anti-gravity muscles and strengthening those as well. So we've got that beautiful postural balance against gravity. And then the third part of the class will be a brain-based component where we look at our eyes, our spine, and our ears. So eyes, spine, and ears are important for our balance system and our postural balance system. So I'll go into that a little bit more. So it's lots going on in the class today. What you will need is a Swiss ball. If you don't have a Swiss ball, don't worry, I've got alternatives for you. And I would love you to find spiky ball if you've got one, or a hard lacrosse ball, or a tennis ball. Okay, something that we can use to roll under the sole of our feet. And of course, if you don't have any of these things today, don't worry about them. You'll still get lots of benefit out of all the exercises. And if you do want any, we have all of this stocked in the clinic, and we can do home deliveries if you think that this is going to be beneficial for you. I also have a chair. So if you've got a chair nearby that's solid, that's good, or a wall. We'll be using a wall as well, okay? I've also got a towel. But when we lay down on the mat, we can just protect our head. Now, for the first part of the class, I'd really like you to be on the floor, not on a spongy mat. To stand on a spongy mat, that's actually a progression, because it's a lot harder for us to feel the ground with the mat underneath our feet. But we will grab the mat towards the end when we lay on the floor for some floor work. Okay, so with today's class also, I just want to stress about listening to your body and making sure you do what feels right for you. Don't push beyond comfort zones at this point. Just feel comfortable within some of these exercises before you push the boundaries. Also, because some of it is requiring balance, just stand near the wall if you feel a bit wobbly, or that's what the chair is for. Have that there so you can touch on the chair. So keep yourself nice and safe with this balance class today. Okay, I think we are good to get going. Hopefully everybody's got their bits and pieces. If you want to give me a thumbs up, that would be great. Otherwise, we can chat afterwards to see if we need to help you with any alternatives if you don't have. Thank you. I've got a couple of thumbs up there. Awesome. Okay. I'm just going to put my little balls down. Take a seat in your chair or on your ball, or even on the floor if you want to. We are going to start with our deep breathing, as we do with every class, to regulate our nervous system. Okay, if we bring our nervous system into a really calm state, then we're more likely to get our balance online. A bit like Wi-Fi, okay? We want a really good connection. To have a good connection for our balance, we need to be quite calm, okay? So let's just start with some deep breathing, filling up all of your torso and breathing it all out with a big exhale. Just as important as your inhale. Pause at the top of your inhale if you're able to hold that breath before you let it out. You're welcome to close your eyes and really bring your mind and your body together in this connection. We do use our eyes for our balance, as I mentioned before. So by closing your eyes, you're actually starting to rely on all your other balance systems. So what you're feeling. So as you get super good at some of these balance exercises, the progression would be to do it with your eyes shut. Okay, let's do 3 more deep breaths. Breathing in and out. And again, breathing in and out. Last breath, breathing in and breathing out. Lovely. Okay, we are going to come up into standing. So if you're on the ball, tuck it away somewhere where it won't roll away and you can get it back later. Okay. So standing up, oh, you can't quite see my head here, but that's okay. You don't want to really see my head at this point. Okay, what I want you to do is we're going to do a pre-test of our balance before we continue on with the class, okay? So arms out to the side, standing lovely and tall, and then floating 1 foot off the ground. And we are going to hold for about 30 seconds. And now I've got my head resting on the TV here, which is a bit of a cheat. Next time I'll move over a little bit. So about 30 seconds, and I just want you to take note of how this leg feels. And also take note of which side you started with first. This is all about our balance between our right and our left. Okay, often we go for our dominant side first. So start thinking about those things. What's your go-to pattern all the time? All right, I'm going to call that about 30 seconds. So that was pre-test on number 1 leg. Okay, arms out to the side and lift the other leg. And again, holding for about 30 seconds. See how this leg and balance on this side feels compared to the other one. Take note of whether your foot is gripping the floor with your toes or are they spreading out nice and wide and feeling the floor. Is your ankle working really hard on this side to keep you balanced? Are we tipping? Are we nice and even on both sides of our torso? All these little things I want you to think about. Okay, now remember the side that was a little bit wobbly. Okay, we're going to do 1 more set on that side. Okay, that's about 30 seconds. Okay, so pick your leg that was a bit more wobbly, and we are going to do that second set when you're ready. Take the arms out, float 1 leg off the floor, and balance. And you'll often find the second set is so much better than the first one. It's like your brain comes online, realizes what you're trying to do, and does it a bit better this time. That's why it's so important. In today's session, we are going to double up things on the side that feels weaker. Give it a second chance to come online and feel better. All right. So I'm on my left leg. That is my non-dominant side. And it's definitely more wobbly for me. My ankle is wobbling. All right, good. And rest. Lovely. Those arms get tired holding them out there too. Okay, now, if you have a spiky ball, we are going to grab that now and place it under our foot. Okay, just pick one side for the time being. If you don't have a spiky ball, you might have a lacrosse type high bounce rubber ball. You might even have a tennis ball. Whatever you've got to work with, we are going to stay here for about a minute and really roll our foot. Now you can definitely swap if you've got both. Go for a bit like 30 seconds on the spiky ball and 30 seconds on the lacrosse ball, and give it a really good roll. Put a bit of weight on it, bit of pressure. Roll from the foot to the toe, okay? And don't just give it a tickle, as some of you may have already heard me say that. This is one of my favorite things. It's quite amazing what this does for the foot. You're mobilizing your foot bones, but more importantly, in this case, for balance, you're waking up all those nerves in the foot, giving that brain lots of information about where the foot is. And then when you actually go to do your balance in a minute, your foot has given the brain so much more information, and I want you to see whether your balance has changed. Okay, I'm just going to swap to my lacrosse ball and give it a good roll. Excuse me. All right. You might find your foot's a bit tender under there too. So if you've had plantar fascia before, or fasciitis rather, underneath your sole of your foot, you will know this exercise because it's a really good one to release tension in there. Okay, so we've done about a minute rolling on our foot. I just want you to stand now and take note of how that foot feels, the one you have rolled, and does it feel any different to the one that you haven't at this point? And I don't want to put words in your head or ideas in your head, but I'm just going to share with you how my foot feels. My foot feels flatter, like I can spread my foot much more on the ground and feel the ground a lot better. I can spread my toes. Okay, so the foot that you've rolled, we are going to go back to our single leg balance, arms out to the side, and lift that leg and balance for me for 30 seconds. Okay, and just see if it feels any different for you. I certainly feel my foot is wider and reading the floor a lot better. I've still got little adjustments going on in my ankle. That's okay. That's what our body has to do. It's reading our balance. Okay. And you might find that you're staring right at your screen, at a particular spot on your screen. Take note of that if you are. If you're doing that, you're using your vision to help stabilize as well. Okay, which is great. It is a strategy. But if we're walking around at night, we also want to bring up our other strategies. Because if it's dark and we can't see, we can't focus and stare with our eyes. Very good. Okay, let's roll the other foot. Have a good roll, not just a tickle. And just sort of have a think about how that felt for you on that side. Ooh, one sole of the foot might feel completely different to the other sole too. So take a little note of that. A lot of comparison within our own body going on today. All right, I'm going to switch my ball. So just like we did on the other side, we're going to roll our foot and then we'll balance on that side that we have just rolled. Oh, I've got a tender left foot. Need to do a bit more rolling on my left foot. Okay. Let's go for our balance again. Standing on that side that you have just rolled, arms out to the side, floating the leg off and feeling that balance for about 30 seconds on this side. Now, if you feel pretty even on both sides, that's awesome. So good. And if you feel a little bit harder on one side, then it just means have a few more reps on that side to bring it up. Good. All right. Take note, are you staring at the camera or are you able to move your eyes around? Looking left and right, maybe even up and down. Good. And relax. Well done. Just shake it off. Okay, we are going to move to our calf muscles. This is, our calf is very important in keeping us standing upright against gravity. Okay, so we want to have good strength in our calf. Now, you can choose to do this exercise holding onto the wall, and excuse my back for a minute. You can face the wall with your fingertips on the wall like so, okay? Or if you don't want to stare at the wall, grab your chair now, okay? And you've got your chair here. Make sure it's a nice solid chair. Remember, we want to stay nice and safe. I'm just kicking my balls away so that I don't stand on them and have a really nice blooper moment. Okay, wherever you are, feet are hip distance apart. We are going to do both feet together first, rising up onto those toes. Little pause at the top and then lower down. Now we're aiming for about 20. That's what we really want to be able to do, 20 good calf raises. So work at your own pace. Just watch that you're really lifting up in a vertical line and you're not sort of swinging yourself up into your calf raise. And we want to feel like we're keeping our ankles in a straight line. Sometimes we can go too far on our toes and end up rolling our ankle joints out. So keep pressure underneath the big toe. Spread it all the way through to the little toe. So you're using all of the foot. Okay, so you may be able to compare left and right here when you're doing both, but it might feel quite even in this position. When we go to our single leg stance, then we'll really know if we've got a difference in strength between left and right. Again. Okay. I am the worst counter, particularly having to go up to about 20. So bear with me if I've shortchanged your reps, or similarly if I've given you a few extra bonus ones. Okay, let's do 2 more. 2 and 1. Okay, just take a little stretch for me. Take that leg back behind you. Keep the knee nice and straight. Keep your heel down. Try and press back through that leg. And just check, have a little look at your foot. Is your foot really turned out like a duck, or is it facing forward? The stretch will feel completely different depending on whether you've got your foot turned out or straight. Okay, swapping legs. Take it back and lunge into it. It's the back leg that we are stretching here. So we're stretching our gastroc muscle. We've actually got 2 calf muscles, and we'll be working the other part of the calf in a little while. You do want to work both parts of your calf. All right, a few more seconds, and then we're going to go on to our single leg calf raise. Okay. All right, pick which side you want to start with first. It may be your dominant side, and we are going to rise up and down in our single leg calf raise. Again, aiming for about 20. If you keep count, then you'll know how it compares left to right. And also over the weeks, as you get stronger, keep a track of how many calf raises you're able to do. Ooh, burning, burning. Really good anti-gravity muscle here. You have to go to a happy place with this one. I think you start to really feel the lactic acid in the calf, but it soon disappears quite quickly after you've done it. Good. Okay, I'm going for about 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, shake it off. If you want to take a quick stretch of that one again, go for it. And then we're going to do our other leg. So I'll try not to talk as much through this one so you can concentrate on counting how many reps you've got on the other leg. When you're ready, set yourself up on the single leg, rising up and down, and you start counting. I'm going for about 4 more. Sorry to interrupt. And this is not my trouble. This is me just letting you count. Oh, good. All right, shake it off. Well done. So just take note. Do you feel equal left and right? Good. Okay. Now, our other anti-gravity muscle. We are going to work our quads and our glutes. This is where I want you to find a wall. And if you have a ball, you can use your ball now. If you don't have a ball, you can just slide up and down on the wall. I'm going to grab my ball and pop it between my back and the wall. Walk your feet out a little way from the wall, and we are going to go into our wall squats. Okay. Now just take it in a range that feels comfortable for your knees. If you do have a lot of knee issues going on or osteoarthritis in the knees, I still want you to try this exercise and find the range that you're happy to work through. Okay, if your pain stays at about a 2 out of 10, that's okay. If it ramps right up to 5 or 6, that's too much. And similarly, you might want to just hold your squat at a certain angle rather than going up and down through the knee joint. So please listen to how your knees feel. You will get benefit with either option. Okay. We are going for about 10 more. Feel free to rest whenever you need to. Work the range that feels comfortable for you, or just be holding in a range that your knees are happy to stay at. Good. So our big powerhouse muscles are working in this, our quads and our glutes. We've also got our hamstrings at the back of the thighs and our inner thighs. So a lot going on, obviously big leg muscles, big support for our balance. Okay, I've lost track again. I want you to do 2 more. And on your last one, we are going to hold it. Whatever range you are at, just keep holding. Feel the burn again. Okay, oh, keep going, keep going. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll it up. Just give it a little shake. Now, I mentioned the other calf muscle, the soleus. We are going to work that now. You can stay with your ball on the wall, but if you feel like it's not quite as steady for you, take the ball away and do it on the wall now. Okay, so find your squat again. And once you've found your good squat, then I want you to raise your heels up and lower your heels. Raise your heels up. Good, keep going. Go for 10. This is your soleus, your other powerhouse calf muscle. This is really important when you push off in your walk. Ooh, you're also still working those quads. So we're getting a little bit of bonus work here in our legs as well as our calf. Okay, go for 2 more. 2, 1, and press back up. Lovely, good. Whew. Shake it off, roll it around. After class, if you've got a foam roller, it'd be really nice to roll your thighs here. And also that will help with if you have any knee irritation too. Okay, so our next one, if you've got a ball, we are going to do it on the ball. So grab your ball and come and have a seat. For those of you who don't have a ball at this stage, what I want you to do is find a little bit of space, and you are going to walk like you're on a tightrope, okay? So one foot in front of the other, and just keeping your balance on that narrow walk. And I want you to do that for about a minute, and then turn around and do it again. So whatever space you've got, a good minute of tandem walking. And then once you've done that, I want you to do crab walks, strengthening those glutes. This is where if you have a band, you can put your band around your legs. So they're your options if you don't have a Swiss ball, okay? Or if you need a break from the Swiss ball, you can get up and do this. Okay, for those that are joining me on the ball, have a seat. Feet are hip distance apart. Okay, spread those toes, feel your feet. And from your feet, I want you to start bouncing. Okay, pushing up and down, keeping a lovely tall spine. I need a sip of water, sorry. Okay, so why are we bouncing? There's several reasons, but today's focus in our balance class is to stimulate little hairs in our ears. If you remembered, I talked about our eyes, ears, and spine being involved in balance. Well, here we're working on the ears, the little hairs in the ears, or our vestibular system, which is hugely responsible for balance. Okay, so by bouncing up and down like this against gravity, inner ear crystals and things like that are bouncing up and down and really getting stimulated. We're helping to come online with this drill. So just keep bouncing, or tandem walking if you're not bouncing. Don't worry, I've got another bouncing thing for you in a minute. The other thing that we are doing is we are bouncing up and down against gravity. And whenever gravity becomes a little bit more intense on our body strengthens up and it goes, right, I need to strengthen up against this gravity and hold myself, and I'll send lots of messages out via the nerves to recruit lots of muscles to stabilize. Okay, so even though you're not feeling that, that is what's going on in the superhighway from the brain down the spine. And if you remember, I said the spine's one of those important factors for balance. Okay, good. So we're bouncing. We are going to go for about 30 more seconds. This is fun anyway. I mean, you could just do this for fun and you're doing something really good for your balance system. Okay, everybody have a break from whatever you're doing. Just put your ball back. Okay, so we've woken up our vestibular system a bit. What I want you to do is bring your feet close together, okay? As close as you can. Then you take your arms out in front like a zombie, okay? This is called this is Romberg's test, which is a classic balance test. So just see how you feel here, okay? And allow that little bit of work that you've done to come online and be integrated into the body, and just see how that feels. Now later on in progressive classes, we'll do things like this, nice and close to the wall, and I'll get you to close your eyes. But for right now, let's just feel comfortable with this exercise. Okay, good. All right, stay with that if that's where you're comfortable. Otherwise, let's go into sharpened Romberg's position, which is one foot in front of the other, like we're on that tightrope, okay? So a narrow gait, take your arms out into zombie arms and balance there. And we're going to do it with one foot in front. At the moment, I've got my right foot in front, and just see how that feels for you. Then we will compare it to the left foot in front, which might feel completely different. And again, just check and see if you're staring at the screen. I know you need to look and see what we're doing. But once you've set yourself up, see if you can look up to the ceiling. See if you can look down to the floor. See if you can look left. See if you can look right. All right, good. All right, swap your feet. The foot in front. Line them up nice and narrow, nice and close. Hands out in front and test this side. And see how that feels. If you feel pretty good on both sides, that's awesome. More often than not, you'll feel it's slightly different. Good. Going for about 5 more seconds here in our zombie position. Be interesting if anybody looked at us now down the hall. Whoa, how's that? Turned my head and lost my balance. Okay, good, shake it off. Now, this is where if you didn't have a Swiss ball, we're going to do the similar same concept. Okay, so feet are hip distance apart, and I'm going to get you to bounce on your heels. So it's quite a heavy drop onto your heels. And what that is doing is stimulating those little inner ear hairs and the little ear crystals. And we're going to do about 10. And then I want you to choose one side to retest your Sharpens-Romberg's position. So for me, I'm going to put my left foot in front because that was a bit more wobblier. Okay, 10 heel bounces and then reset yourself up for your zombie position and see if it feels any different for you after stimulating your inner ear. Now this is really nice. If you're standing in the kitchen waiting for the kettle to boil, you could do a little pre-test of your zombie arms and legs, then do 10 heel bounces and then go ahead and retest. And it's just like you're giving yourself a little drill to challenge that balance and stimulate the balance. Yes, I feel so much steadier after that. All right, do one more set of 10 heel bounces for me and then do the other leg again. All right, swap the zombie feet, zombie arms, and balance. Good. Hope you're all out there balancing superbly in virtual land. Feeling good. Again, this is one that we could close our eyes down the track and challenge it even more. All right, lovely. Very good. Okay, let's get our mat. And we're going to come down for some mat exercises. I am just going to lower my camera a tiny bit so you can see. Yes. Hello, back again. All right, come down onto your mat for me. Grab your towel if you need to support your head. Okay, we're going to lay on our back. I'll just move my chair away. Okay, so laying down on your back. Little towel underneath your neck if you need it. Now your neck has got so many nerve endings obviously coming out from the base of the brain, and it does give us a lot of feedback for our balance. So having your neck in a good position is really important to neurologically activate our muscles. Okay, so when you are down on the mat, just check that your neck is not scrunched up like that. Have it nice and long. Very important. Okay, we are going to have our feet hip distance apart and come up into a bridge. Just go slowly the first few because we've done our legs in standing with the wall squats, but it feels a bit different down here. I want you to really squeeze that bottom and then bring it back down. And let's go for 6 of these. I'm having a tongue-tied day. Good. And then come back down. And with the more reps we do, the better the contraction feels through your glutes, hopefully. Nice. So this is still working our anti-gravity muscles, our hip extensors or our glutes, just in a different position. All right, let's go for 2 more wherever you're at, how many reps you've done. And we're about to go into a single leg bridge. So this is where we do our comparison from left and right side of our body again. Okay, so take it up into your bridge and then float one leg off. So you're in a single leg bridge, and just see how that feels for you on that supporting leg, what that feels like. Place the other leg back down on the mat to float the other leg off, and see how your left and right feels. Good. And you can stay up here and just keep alternating, transferring the effort from one leg to the other. And as I've said before, the more reps you do, the more your brain starts to switch on and go, okay, I know what you want me to do with this muscle, and it should start to feel a little bit better. Until, of course, you tire out. And then you go, I need a rest. By all means, come back down to the mat and have a little rest. Roll your knees side to side. And we're going to go back up again. Just to test it one more time, I want you to work out which side is your side that needs a little extra work. Okay, so just do a few marches. That's it. Okay, I've picked my leg. Hopefully you've picked your leg. So we're going to do a set of 10 just on our leg that needs that extra work. So when you're ready, lifting up into the bridge, and off you go, 10. So my left leg, my non-dominant side, needs a bit more work. So I'm just going to float my right hip up and down, making my left leg do all the work. Good, I've got 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Good. Oh, come down and just roll your back side to side for me. Keep rolling. Just a couple more. And then we are going to come onto our side. So take your pillow or your towel and pop it under your head here again. Okay, still working on our glutes, but this time it's the side glute muscle called glute med, okay, instead of glute max, which we were just working on in the bridge. Bend your knees and hips so you're at a right angle, like you're sitting in a chair, okay? All right, then we are going to simply float the top leg off the bottom one and hold it here in our isometric clam. Okay. Just checking my mic is still on, keep holding. And of course, we're going to compare how this side feels to our other side. Okay, we're aiming for about 20-second hold here. This is the muscle that stabilizes your pelvis when you balance on a single leg. Okay, if this muscle is really weak and you go and stand on one leg, you'll find your pelvis tips a little bit to the side. So this is a really good strengthening exercise for that pelvis stability and balance when you're on the one leg. Okay, come on down. We are going to do 2 more of these, holding for 20 seconds. Go to your happy place again. Lots of long burning muscles today. All right. Good. And lifting up. And hold. Good. And down. All right. Just take your legs back a little bit. Keep your feet together now and move into your clam. Keeping your hips stacked. This is still working that glute med muscle, but now it's working it through its range of motion. You may also take note of how your hip range is on one side compared to the other. Okay, watch that you're not rolling back, because then you actually start to use a different muscle. So when you're keeping your hips stable and stacked one on top of the other, your range might not be as big, but that's okay. It's more pure in this muscle group. All right, going for 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, good. Stretch it out. Give it a little rub. Onto your other side. Placing that towel underneath your head. Okay, hips and knees bent. And we're going for our isometric clam here. So we are holding that leg up. And we are comparing how this side feels to our other side. I think you get that theme running through the class today. You're probably sick of me saying it now. All right, about 20 seconds before you lower it down. Going for 2 more. And guess what we are going to do once we've done this and then our moving clams on this side? We are going to pick our side that felt weaker. And you are going to do 10 more reps of one of these exercises. So you could choose clams, this isometric clam like this, or you can choose the moving clam, whatever works. Okay, now let's go into our moving clam. Keeping those feet together, opening the knee. That's it, up and down. And compare your range of motion on this side compared to the other. I have more range on this side, but it's not as strong. And often you'll find that you have greater range, but it's not as strong as compared to the other side, being really strong, but a bit tighter. All right, going for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, pick your side that you are going to repeat. I'm going to stay here on my left, and I'm going to choose variation number 2, the moving clams. So when you're ready, go for 10 more on the weaker side. Good, about 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Okay, give it a little rub. Coming onto your tummy. All right. Now this is a bit of fun. We're still staying with our glutes here. And some of you have done this with me before, butt dancing. Okay. What I want you to do first of all is squeeze both bottom cheeks together. So like you're clenching $100 between your bottom cheeks. That's it. Good. And squeeze. And release. Once you feel comfortable knowing what you're doing, rest your head down on your towel so that your neck is nice and long and comfortable. Okay, so we've had a squeeze of both our bottom cheeks together. Now I just want you to squeeze the right butt cheek and release it. Squeeze the right and release. Right. Let it go. Good. Trying to just isolate it into the bottom. Often the thigh wants to get involved in this as well. All right. Okay, have a rest of the right. Now try your left side. And squeeze and release, and it might feel completely different. Okay. Certainly does for me on my left side. But the more I do, the more my brain becomes aware and the more it becomes activated. Good. Going for 4 more. This is a really nice one to play around with, particularly if you do it in sitting too. You've got good feedback when you're sitting on your butt cheeks, obviously. All right. Nice. And rest. We are going to work our upper back postural muscles. As I said, we also want to balance the front and back of our body. And so often our back body is a lot weaker because it's in a lengthened position more throughout the day. So come down onto your tummy. Hands are by your side. And you are going to slide those shoulder blades back and down your back and bring your upper back into a little bit of extension. And then roll it back down. Slide the shoulders down to your back pockets. Now make sure your neck is nice and long here, like you're shooting energy out through the top. And then roll it back down. And again. So working those muscles around our shoulder blades, our upper back, so we don't get a hunchback. This is really nice if you've been doing a lot of computer work. Let's go for 2 more of these. Draw those shoulders back, hold them there for a little bit, and then release. Good. All right, now take your hands to your hips. We are going to do darts. So draw those shoulder blades down your back, reach your fingertips towards your feet. Lovely, strong energy right through the whole back body. These are our anti-gravity muscles. And release it down. Again, slide those shoulder blades down the back. Now also feel like you're opening the front of your chest. You're making your collarbones nice and long and wide so that you should feel even length across the front of the body and across the back. Good. Down. 1 more. And into your dart. Neck is nice and long. And then release it off. Good. Okay, come back onto your side for me. So still thinking about the equal length on the front and the back of our body. We are going to do book openings. So your knees and hips are bent and your hands are out in front of you, okay? And we're going to reach that top hand up towards the ceiling and then open it out to the side. And we're stretching through our front part of our body, which often gets very, very tight. So we just activated the back. And now we're opening through the front as well. So just going through about 4 or 5 book openings. And I want you to take note how your pec feels on this side. And of course, compare it to the other side. Good. And up. This is giving our thoracic spine a nice rotation stretch, which is so important for our whole spinal movement. If our upper back gets really stiff, then our low back has to compensate. And again, that's about the balance, isn't it? So if one area is really stiff, the lumbar spine has to take up the balance of the work. Whereas we want to share the load, share the balance. Okay, let's swap sides. All right. And taking note as you reach that arm up and open through the front of the chest, how this side feels compared to your other. And take a minute, or not a minute, a moment rather, to pause there and really let it stretch out. And open. And close. And again. And one more. That feels really nice. I love this stretch. I could do this every day, several times a day. Great. Okay, lovely. Coming up onto your hands and knees now. Of course, later on the day, if you felt like one arm and one book opening was tighter than the other, you could go back and do a second set on that side that was tight. Okay, coming onto your hands and knees. If you don't like kneeling, first of all, try popping a little bit of extra padding underneath your knees. Okay, but if that's still really uncomfortable, please just go onto your back and just windscreen wipe your knees side to side and get that mobility in your spine with your windscreen wipers. Otherwise, come here and join me for some cat and cows. First of all, we all know cat and cows, okay? But if you think about this in a slightly different way, we're going to do it in a spinal wave, which makes our brain pay attention a lot more to our spine movement. And our spine is the superhighway for carrying those messages up and down from the body to the brain. Okay, so come into your flat back. Now we are going to do our curl up, starting from our tail first. So our tail curls and we roll all the way up through our spine till the head. Now, we're going to uncurl our head first. The tail is staying tucked. We're going to go through our upper back, then through our lower back, and the tail is the last thing to come out. So going tail to head, head to tail. And just keep that going, spinal wave right from the tail to the head. Then the opposite direction. Go for 3 more. Good. Last one. Last spinal wave. Good. Okay. That feels really nice too, as well as being really good neurologically. Okay. Now, come and sit on your chair or on your ball. So just move your mat out the way if you need to. I'm going to grab my ball. Okay. All right. I'll just give you a minute to find your sitting position. We are going to finish the class with some eye drills. So we've worked our spine mobility as part of our balance system. We've worked the inner ear with our bouncing on the ball and the heels. Okay, we've also worked our eyes or thought about our eyes a little bit when we've been staring at the screen. Okay, but now what I want you to do is take one hand and put one thumb up. Take the other hand and put that thumb close to your face. So if you see me side on, it's like I've got a distance of about 20 centimeters between my thumbs. Okay, now you are going to take your gaze and look to your thumb that is far away. So stare at that thumb that's furthest away from your face for a few seconds. Now stare at the thumb that is close to your face for a few seconds. And I want you to keep switching from your thumb that is far to your thumb that is near. And do that 10 times for me. So this is really training the eyes and this nervous connection that goes into our brain and helps our balance. Good. Going for 2 more. Eyes flicking from thumb to thumb. Ah, good. All right, give it a break. Shut your eyes for a second if you need to. It's quite tiring. All right, now just take that one thumb, put it out in front of you, okay? And you're reaching that thumb far away and you're staring at it. Now, keep staring at your thumb as you bring your thumb in close to your face, nice and slowly. Okay, this is working our eye convergent. Now take that thumb away, nice and slowly. Keep focusing on it. And you're going to do 3 more. Bring that thumb in close to your face. And then away. And 1 more time. Bring the eyes into a converging position, hopefully. And away. Good. Shake off the eyes. Shake off the thumb if you need to. Very good. Just give your eyes a 10-second shut. Hopefully you're sitting in the chair. So a progression of this would be to do it in standing. All right. And then do it in tandem stance. Whilst you're working the eye drill, you're working the other components of the balance as well. Okay, very good. Last thing that I want everybody to do, come up into standing. Okay. And take a big reach of those arms all the way up to the ceiling. Take your gaze up to the ceiling as well. So I am like this in standing. Eyes are up. I'm reaching nice and tall. And then release. And well done. Very good. So that's the end of our balance class today. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed the concept of working balance in 3 different ways. And all those little drills are very simple to take away and do with that throughout the day to work on your balance. Remember those spiky balls for your feet way back at the start of class. Excellent, excellent exercise for improving your balance and increasing your sensation through your foot up to your brain. I'm going to open the chat box. If there's any questions, just type away in the chat box. I'm going to take a quick drink. Thumbs up, thank you, very good. There's so many different things you can do for balance. So this class will repeat some of the concepts again so that you can keep progressing. And also it's something that your body will always benefit from, even if you just did the same class over and over again for a few weeks. But there's lots more that I would love to share with you in this balance realm. Oh, very good. I'm glad. Yeah, it's a different style of class, isn't it? So it might not be your cup of tea, but even if you did it every now and again, you know you're doing something really good for your balance system and your neurological system. Thank you, Julie. That's lovely. That's great. Glad you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, as I said, don't hesitate to email me or call up reception and I'm happy to chat through things. But hopefully you'll have a lovely day today. Feel nice and balanced. Stay safe. Keep well. And I really look forward to seeing you online again soon, hopefully. Enjoy your Easter break. You will have this recording sent out for the next 48 hours. So if you want to do it again, go for it. Have fun over Easter with it. Lovely. Thank you very much for your